At the onset of this bill, the chairman referenced a tragedy that happened yesterday. A couple of my colleagues referenced it as well. And Senator Sampson, one of my colleagues touched upon this briefly. He said that none of these laws would have stopped that shooting. He's right. He's right. None of the gun restrictive laws are ever going to legislate evil out of hearts of people. It's not going to happen. And we know that. He said what would stop that is school security. He's right. But what nobody mentioned yet, and in the governor's statement, he didn't mention it either. Tragically, 6 lives were lost yesterday. And as tragic as that is, it could have been exponentially more tragic. As the senator said, we're waiting for additional information to come out, but in my experience, it seems that those individuals have significant ammunition when they go into these shootings. But what nobody mentioned was the reason it wasn't exponentially worse is because a couple of brave souls with no regard for their own life ran as fast as they can into that building to stop that threat and to stop further loss of life to innocent people. Chairman didn't mention that. The governor's office certainly is not going to mention that, the heroic act of those police officers, but I will. And Senator, you're exactly right. That is how you stop bad people. Good people with guns. And our officers in this state are good people. The officers that went in there yesterday are good people. I shudder to think what they are going through this hour. But I find it troubling that we will try to pass this law today and reference yesterday's tragedy, while elsewhere in this building, there are moves, and I should say that I had the opportunity to view the body cam of one of those officers. Their training, obvious. Their precision and heroism, undeniable. Outstanding work by those guys. Absolutely outstanding. And we cannot fail to mention the outstanding job that those teachers and students did in making sure those officers showed up to a scene where they could quickly get their job done because they were where they were supposed to be, because they had drilled it and they were ready. And as sad as it is, our kids have to be ready for that. So I find it troubling that when that's the reality and we're using that incident today, that elsewhere in this building, we talk about getting police officers out of schools and we talk about less lockdown drills. I think the senator is right. If we want to get serious about gun violence, we have to start talking about realities. And we have to start pushing more gun restrictions simply to do it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.